I get it. I get it. You don't want this video to be another meditation video that makes you feel guilty for not meditating enough or not being able to sit down for 10 minutes and focus on your breath or whatever it is. But that's not what this video is going to be about. What I want this video to be about is to really just emphasize and hammer home the importance of cultivating a meditative state of mind. Not even necessarily a meditation practice, the sort of traditional, stereotypical way of sitting down and following your breath for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes every night or whatever it is, but more so the act of cultivating a meditative state of awareness. So, we have all these misconceptions of what meditation is. We think it's to stop thinking, or to focus on your breath, or to maybe just sit down and not do anything. It's this sort of vague, nebulous, generalized understanding of what meditation is. But over the years of practicing meditation and studying meditation and from different cultures, what I've come to understand meditation to be is a state of mind. It's a state of awareness. So, what meditation is, meditation, in as simple a way I could describe it, meditation is how you know you're here right now. Now think about that. How do you know you're present? How do you know you're here right now? Well, I feel that I'm here. I can see. I can hear. You know? I'm breathing. I'm aware. Meditation is awareness. The idea is that meditation is about tuning into the awareness, the thing that allows you to know that you are, the thing that allows you to know that you exist at all. Meditation it's so subtle to talk about this. Meditation is the practice of orienting your attention on awareness. And this is done by having an object of meditation, like a mantra, or focusing on the breath, or visualizing something, or whatever it is, feeling listening to a sound, or feeling your body. The idea is to cultivate concentration. And when we cultivate concentration, we're tuning into the awareness, And the reason it's so crucial, it's so important, and so beneficial to be aware of yourself is because this state of neutral awareness is like a foundation upon which the activity of life takes place. And if you don't have this foundation of awareness, you're sort of in this autopilot mode. You're just kind of going through the motions. You don't know where your ideas are coming from. You don't know where the sudden impulses to act are coming from. You're just kind of doing stuff. And in this culture we live in with, scrolling and social media and our shortening attention spans and going from one thing to the next, and it's creating this sense of restlessness. It's creating this sort of collective mania, this collective manic state. I don't know about you, but I can feel it in myself. And this is why I practice meditation, and not even necessarily just sitting down, but tuning back into my awareness, tuning back into this moment right now. Just for example, let's do it right now. You're sitting here and you're watching this video. Allow it to just be. Here we are. The moment is happening. The wind is blowing. You hear my voice. You can feel your body. You can hear cars driving by. This moment, just the way it is. That is awareness. And meditation is the act of tuning into the moment. And the importance of tuning into the moment is that it's in the moment that you collect yourself. You settle down from that restlessness. If you ever feel bored, or if you ever feel like you're just anxiously running around and you don't know what to do and you're tired of doing all these things, that may be a calling to try not doing anything. It may be a calling to center yourself, to ground yourself, to silence yourself. Because here's the really interesting thing. When you cultivate a state of awareness, a meditative state of mind, you internally you quiet down. You internally quiet down. You could think of our incessant activity is like ripples on the water where everything is messy and chaotic and turbulent. And when you meditate, when you focus, when you just be, just as you are, those turbulent waves, that white water, that rippling settles down. And see, here's the thing. When water is rippling and turbulent, you can't see through it. It's obscured. But when you stop moving, when the water settles down, you can see through it. You can see clearly. And this is precisely what happens when we meditate, is things become clear. Things become apparent. Now, you may think, how am I going to get anything done by sitting and meditating or by just focusing on being aware? The thing is, so much can come about when you stop trying to make stuff happen. Your insight, your responsibilities, your actions, your choices do not come out of a place of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to choose to do this. When you meditate, you start to realize that these things occur naturally. They come up naturally. And it's by trying to make things happen and trying to get things done and trying to calm down and running around from thing to thing to thing, you're getting in your own way. And when you meditate, you start to realize that a natural and effortless way is born when you step aside, when you quiet down inside. Meditation is a foundation. It's a place of tranquility. You know, like if I've had a rough day, if I've had a negative, emotionally challenging day or whatever it was, at the end of the night, I sit down and I breathe and I realize here I am. And I let my mind kind of like pop and crackle and sizzle like a fire. And eventually it calms down. Because in the activity, in our overactivity, in our hyperactivity, it's like adding fuel to the fire constantly. But when you recede, when you pull back just into a place of awareness, it allows that fire to simmer down a little bit, to relax a little bit. And see, when I sit down and I meditate, I come into a place of peace. I come into a place of tranquility. And this is really interesting. When you quiet down enough, you start to hear things that you couldn't hear before. When you quiet down, you can hear more. When you're just racing around one thing to the next, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that and I don't want to do that and how is this going to happen and what about that and let's plan for this and all this activity, you lose your ground. You lose your sense of balance, your sense of ground. And it can get exhausting. I personally can feel when I need to sit down and meditate. It's not this, oh, it's 7 o'clock at night, I gotta sit down and meditate. It's not that kind of a thing for me. I use meditation as a tool to come back into a place of equilibrium, to come back into a place of balance and tranquility. And I can literally feel it. I can feel when my actions are coming out of this space of restlessness. Like, and if I'm at work or something and I can feel I'm just like racing about, doing things without any reason to them, without any ground to them, I'll come back into my body. I'll focus on my breathing. I'll focus on what I'm physically doing. I'll focus on performing my tasks cleanly and thoroughly and efficiently and with grace and flow. And naturally that hyperactivity, that restlessness begins to recede. Because it's like when you start feeding a computer too much information and you start demanding too much tasks of that computer, it starts to overheat. It starts to get all weird, and then everything starts malfunctioning. That's how we are. That's how we are. And meditation is a means of letting the computer of our mind cool out a little bit, chill out a little bit. You know? So many people say, I don't have time to meditate. Well, that's because you have a misconception of what meditation is. Meditation doesn't mean sit down for 30 minutes. Meditation is a state of mind, and you can cultivate that state of mind in whatever you're doing. Meditation really translates over into awareness. It's cultivating awareness. And see, if you don't have a basis of why you're cultivating awareness, there's not going to be a strong enough incentive to do it. But it's when you begin to practice it that you start to realize what the benefits of it are. The benefits of it are presence. And out of presence comes peace. Out of presence comes clarity. Out of presence comes insight. Insight like you wouldn't ever imagine. It's crazy. When you quiet down, you can hear a more wise part of yourself, a deeper aspect of yourself, a more harmonious aspect of yourself, one that has your best interest in mind, and everybody's best interest in mind. We, the ego, the doer, I'm going to do this, and I need to prove that to them, and I'm going to make this happen, and I need to stop that from happening, and I'm going to go do this because I'm bored. And the ego, the mind, the intellect, you may have heard before, it's a beautiful servant, but a lousy master. The ego can only serve you when you've developed a place beyond it. If you haven't developed that place beyond the ego, beyond the activity, the ego, the intellect, is the master, and it will drag you around by the nose, and you won't even realize that you are free from it. And you will just carry on with this restless activity, with no ground, with no reason. Meditation, cultivating awareness, cultivating mindfulness and presence is about extricating yourself from that incessant activity. And you can see, like it's faith. It's literally like a trust fall. When you cultivate presence and awareness, there isn't really thoughts about the present moment. When you're thinking about the moment, you're a thought away from the moment. The moment itself is empty, it's free, it's untarnished by mental imposition. And in that state of pure presence, the ego, the intellect goes, whoa, 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 nobody's being responsible here. How am I gonna pursue my dreams and make this happen and go to work, and how am I going to know I'm doing everything properly? And I need to pay attention. I need to keep track of things. I need to make things happen. I need to plan things. I need to make sure this doesn't happen. The doer, the ego, needs to make it all happen and needs to pay attention and don't do that and don't say that and make sure that doesn't happen and remember to do that. And in cultivating a space of just the witness, the observer, awareness, there's such a quality of emptiness to it that it's frightening to the ego. The ego thinks, who's doing everything? Nothing's going to get done if I just hang out in the moment. But see, the reason it's a trust fall is because when you trust fall into the moment just as it is, you realize that actions arise naturally out of the moment. You don't make them happen. They are your actions, and the unfolding of your life is as natural as your breath, as your blood flowing, as the sun rising and setting. You are natural. The moment is natural. You don't need to plan everything. You don't need to seek and do. You don't need to make it all. It happens naturally. It happens naturally. And here's the fun part. In the moment, when you're resting as the moment itself, when you're resting as the observer, the awareness, fully seated, wholly seated in your body, in the moment, your actions are more clean, are more pure, are more efficient, are more wise, are more beneficial. Creativity, inspiration, passion, visions are born out of emptiness, out of a blank slate of presence. When we're incessantly doing and thinking and acting and remembering and planning and all this mind stuff, we're muddying the water of our minds. And meditation is a means of just coming back into the moment. Coming back into the moment. You know, it's not about going into samadhi or stopping thinking or having visions of God. And that stuff can't happen. You don't even have to be meditating for that stuff to happen. Meditation is about awareness. It's about being here in this moment right now. You know, when you're eating, are you stuffing food in your mouth and scrolling through your phone and talking to people and watching TV? Not even tasting the food, not even feeling yourself increasingly getting more and more full, so you end up overeating and you didn't even enjoy it because you weren't tasting it. You know what I'm saying? Meditation is about being present. You know? Look, like before I eat a meal, I look at the food and I thank the food for serving me, for feeding me, for filling me up, for the nutrients that it's about to give me. And I think about the plants and animals that went into providing this meal. And the workers, the farmers, the workers who harvested this. And I give love to everything. And it brings such a sense of wholesomeness to what I'm doing. And I taste the food. And I enjoy the food. And I feel myself filling up on the food. And I know when to stop because I'm paying attention to eating the food. Or even cooking when you're preparing dinner for yourself or a meal for yourself. You can get into this flow state. It's complete flow. Like, I used to work in a kitchen years ago, and we would get a rush. Now, I can tell you right now, if I was trying to think my way through what to do and rationalize my way through it, I would burn out. I would get overwhelmed. I would get flustered, and I wouldn't be able to get anything done. But it's when I step aside and tune into that flow where everything happens, where I pull the ticket and plate the food and drop that into the fryer and flip that on the grill and do that and plate that and serve that and call that out. It's all happening naturally. It's all happening effortlessly. And what it takes to get into that state is to let go. That trust fall. To tune into just the moment itself. Trusting that the moment can take care of itself. Trusting that I don't need to make the moment happen right. I don't need to make the moment happen efficiently. It happens of itself. You know? And the interesting thing about flow state is when you get into a flow state, you ask somebody like a surfer or an athlete or someone who's painting or someone who's writing or someone who's playing music, playing live music, or even making a video like this. You ask them, what were you thinking when you were doing that? Most of them, much of the time say, I wasn't thinking. It was just happening. So, this begs the question, when you're in a flow state, who's doing all that stuff? What's flowing? What's flowing is your natural intelligence, your natural wisdom, your natural harmony with nature. Meditation is about practicing flow. That's why meditation isn't exclusive to sitting down in the lotus position, focusing on your breath, wondering why you're doing it and being bored. That's not meditation. Meditation is flow. It's effortless flow. It's the natural flow of life. You know, and you can practice this anywhere and everywhere. And where it starts is, kind of like I said in the beginning, realizing that you're here. Realizing that you exist. Here I am. It's happening. And you'll start to see that actions come about spontaneously. You know? So like I said, this video isn't to make you feel guilty for not meditating. This isn't even to tell you to sit down and meditate. It's to emphasize the importance of cultivating a meditative awareness, cultivating mindfulness. When you cultivate mindfulness, you will also develop qualities of contemplation, qualities of pause, space, not being reactive, but rather being responsive, responding to the moment. When somebody says something and it ticks you off, you don't lash at them. You see, what they did just ticked me off. How do I want to go about this? You know? There is a natural, intuitive wisdom to every single one of you. And what it takes for this wisdom to be manifest is to get out of our own way and to let it shine, to let it be there. The ego, the intellect, tries to take control of everything. And I mean, look at the world. That's why we're in the position we are. Is the ego trying to make everything happen, fix everything, stop them from doing that, and I'm going to do this and plan that and stop that and start that, and it's exhausting. And to bring it up again, I can feel within myself, within my mind and body, the way that I've described it is it's like mental nausea. It's like psychological nausea. I can feel when I'm just doing stuff for no reason, with no intention. Shit, I'm just doing stuff. Stuff's just happening. I'm scrolling, and then I'm gonna go do this and eat that and take a nap, and gotta go to work, and lunchtime, and I'm just going through the motions. I'm not even present. It's just autopilot. And so I can start to feel this. It's this agitation within me saying, "Hey, man, you need to come back to a ground. You need to settle down a little bit." And so I'll breathe. Or I'll step outside for a moment and I'll feel the air, and I'll feel the fresh air. And I'll feel my body, and I'll hear the wind roaring, if there's any wind. And I'll start doing things with intention, doing things in flow, doing things efficiently. It's about being present. It's not about sitting down and focusing on your breath. Meditating, that stereotype, that traditional form of meditating, that's a way to tune right into what I'm talking about. Directly concentrate on the breath, and you get into this space of sort of natural emptiness. And in that emptiness arises insight, peace, tranquility, unification between body, mind, and spirit. All these profound things happen when you tune into that meditative state. But you can do this anywhere. It's about cultivating mindfulness. So yeah, I'm not urging you to sit and meditate, I'm just trying to shed light on why having a meditative state of mind, why having mindfulness is so important. When you've developed mindfulness, your actions will come from a naturally wiser place. You won't scroll for 2 hours when you're being mindful. You won't just bob around from action to action and thought to thought when you're mindful. When you're mindful, when you're present with the moment, art naturally is born from you. So yeah, the importance of mindfulness, the importance of being here now. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video, because it really helps me out and it helps get this video recommended to more people like you. If you're feeling stressed, lost, anxious, restless, ungrounded, or anything in between, I highly recommend you go and check out my free 45-minute guided meditation that's available here on YouTube. This meditation is aimed towards tuning you back into your natural, authentic self. Something that is all too easy to lose sight of in this racy culture that we live in these days. Listening to this meditation will point you back towards your fundamental self. It will bring you back to the basics. It will bring you back to the effortless, natural self that you are, which is, as I said, so easy to lose sight of. And I can promise you that listening to this meditation will put you in a place of tranquility and will tune you back into the innate wisdom of your being. So again, if you're feeling stressed, restless, ungrounded, lost, or anything of that nature, go and check out this guided meditation, and I can assure you that it will at least tune you back in to your immediate surroundings and the tranquility and peace that is present in this moment. I will link this meditation right here in the video, and I really hope this helps, and I hope to see you there.